Okay, that's giving it a good dry. Now our next move now is we're going to put in the river bank here. Remember when we looked at, I don't know if you remember the piece I was doing, but it doesn't matter. You just follow me. Don't you worry. It'll all evolve and you'll see what it's like in a moment. Now this is the baby goat hair brush and I'm going to use just raw sienna all by itself. I'm just going to go across like that. Look, just across, keeping it quite faint. Across there, look. You see what I'm doing? Across the river bank. Now, as we go up a bit onto the trees and things, it's a different, slightly different colour. We can just feed it in there. So it kind of blends in together. You see that? It's nothing. It's just a kind of an impression of what we're at. And then we got to put out some more paint. And then we have to dry it all because, yes. Now, look, this is darker, much darker. It's burnt umber. And we're just going to put a little bit of that here and there just to create a kind of an impression that, yeah, you see that there. Look at that. That's right along the bank of the river. And then right across, we're going to do, this is the baby goat hair brush, by the way, and it's burnt umber with lots of water. Not, well, when I say lots, enough to make it viable. There you go. Isn't that nice now? I'm going to give that a dry now. All right, put that back in. Now let's dry that. Well, here I am sitting in a most unusual boat. It's called the Brendon Bolt. And to tell you a little bit about it, it's made of oak timbers and hide. And it's tied together. And it's put together in exactly the same way as the monks would have done when they first used this boat to discover America, which, believe it or not, was 1,000 years before Columbus. How about that now? And in the mid-70s, a gentleman called Tim Severin decided that he'd prove this point. So he proceeded to build this boat and to cross the Atlantic using exactly the same route as the monks did. And that was up to Iceland, across to Greenland and down. And in fact, on the way, they were hit by an iceberg, so they nearly took the whole side of the boat off and had to repair it. Pretty awful. They must have been mad. Anyway, they did it. Yes. And then this has been preserved here for posterity for the likes of me to come along and tell the story, which I think is very interesting. But there it is. All right, that's a good drawing. And how'd you enjoy that story of the Brendon Bolt? Wasn't that incredible? I'll tell you something more incredible than that. Remember I mentioned that it was holed halfway across the Atlantic? Well, Tim Severin got out of that boat in the middle of the Atlantic, up near Greenland. Now, it was cold, icebergs, everything. And he had a needle and old-fashioned hide, and he had to punch holes through it and stitch the patch on the boat, otherwise it would have sank. He must have been crazy. He very nearly froze to death, because of course they hadn't any hair dryers there to heat him up when he got back on the boat again. That's a fact. Just thought you'd like to know that. And they did get to America first. I mean, the original one, didn't it? All right, back to the picky again now. We're going to put in the water now. Now the water, we go back to the big brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to take exactly the same mixture as we used for the sky. You see that kind of purpley colour? It looks kind of nice, doesn't it? Yeah. So now we mix some of the blue and some of the red and a teensy, just a titch of that raw sienna. If you put too much raw sienna in, do you know what will happen? Well, it'll all go muddy looking on you, and you want to be careful of that. Now take your time mixing the paint. It actually takes 99% of your time to mix the paint and only 1% to put it on the paper. And the other thing is, what you might do is have a little piece of paper, as I have here, to one side, and then you can test. Just say, how is that? That looks pretty good. So, okay, we'll just put a little bit more of that in, and that's what we'll use. So, in other words, without testing it on your actual picture, you can test it to one side. There you go. You can use the back of an old piece of paper if you want. Right, ready, steady, go. Large brush, right across. And again. And again. Look at that. That wasn't so hard, was it? Now let's just dry that.